I am a working dog, and no one knew I was tired. I was trained not to flinch at gunfire, to run toward the sound that makes others run away. I was trained to track, to detect, to protect, and so I did, every day, without hesitation, but no one ever trained me to rest. I am a working dog. I wear a vest with your country's flag. I ride in the back of armored trucks, in helicopters, in silence. I walk beside boots that smell like dust and fear, and I understand every signal, every gesture, every glance. My world is made of commands and consequences, and I was good at it. Too good, maybe, because no one ever stopped to wonder if the good dog could ever get tired. I remember the first time I was chosen. Big hands lifted me from a litter of wiggling bodies. They held me up to the light and said, "This one's alert. Not gentle, not soft. Alert." And that was the beginning of my job. I did not chase butterflies. I did not nap on warm couches. I learned to sniff out danger, to sit when I smelled it, to bark when I found it, to run when told, to bite when commanded. My toys were shaped like guns and ropes. My rewards were sharp praise, quick pats, and more work. I've been in places you wouldn't want to imagine, air thick with heat and powder, nights broken by alarms, mornings too quiet to trust. I've watched people scream. I've seen the bodies, and I never looked away, because that's not what I was trained to do. I remember every face I saved, every life I shielded, every time I stood between my handler and a threat, and I would do it again 1,000 times, but no one noticed the limp that never healed, or the ear that rang long after the explosion, or the eyes that blinked too slowly when the sun went down. No one noticed when I stopped wagging, because I still obeyed, because I still worked, because good dogs do not ask for breaks. But I remember the last day, the last mission, the one where something felt wrong. I smelled it. I felt it in the way the earth vibrated beneath my paws. I looked up at him, my handler, and I knew he felt it too. But we went forward. That was the job, and when the dust settled and the shouting stopped, I found him. Still, I nudged his glove. I waited for the command. It never came. They pulled me away from him, held me down, told me I was a hero. But I didn't want to be a hero. I just wanted my person. They retired me after that, said I'd earned my rest, but rest isn't something you hand out. It's something you have to teach, and no one ever taught me how. So even now, in this quiet house, with a soft bed and kind hands, I still flinch when I hear loud noises. I still wake at 3 a.m., ready to move. I still check every door, every window, because I'm a working dog, and no one told me the job was over. I was given new toys. They squeaked instead of smoked. I was fed on a schedule, not between missions. I was called a good boy again, but this time the words were soft, not sharp. But I didn't understand. I waited for the next call, for the command, for the signal that this calm was temporary, that danger was still coming. But it never did. Only the sun, rising and falling without urgency, only quiet walks, only slow afternoons on a patch of grass that no one was trying to take, and that should have been enough. But I missed the weight of the vest, not for pride, for purpose. I watched the other dogs in the neighborhood. Their collars jingled like laughter. Their humans bent to scoop them up and kiss the tops of their heads. They were allowed to be soft, to be messy, to sleep belly up in the middle of the floor. I did not know how to be like them. My body would not allow it. My mind was always listening. I was not bred for leisure. I was born for duty. And still I watched the door. Still I waited for someone to need me. One night, the new human, the one who took me in, sat beside me on the porch. We watched the stars, the wind in the trees. She did not speak, but she didn't need to. Her silence was kind, not like the silence before an ambush, but the silence of someone who sees you and doesn't look away. She reached out her hand, slowly, gently, and rested it on my back. And, for the first time in a long time, I did not brace. She didn't ask me to work. She didn't ask me to prove myself. She just stayed. And I breathed, really breathed. My ribs expanded all the way. I exhaled the years. I felt the ache in my hips, and I did not push it down. I let it hurt, and it did. But it also passed. A little. That night, I slept without my ears twitching. Not all the way through. Not yet. But long enough to dream. And in the dream, I was young again, running through open fields with no mines beneath the dirt, no gunfire in the trees, just wind and birds, and a voice calling me, not in command, but in joy. And when I woke, I didn't panic. I didn't leap to my feet. I simply blinked and stayed. Not all recovery looks like healing. Some of it looks like surrender, like finally letting yourself admit that you're not as strong as you used to be, that your legs shake when you stand up too fast, that your jaw aches from the years you spent clenching it before every charge, every takedown, every sprint through smoke. I do not move like I once did. I no longer leap from the porch to the grass in one bound. I ease my way down, careful, quiet. The children in the neighborhood sometimes run up to me, their hands sticky with candy, their laughter high and untrained. I do not mind. I do not fear them. But I do not play. They throw a ball. I watch it bounce. I watch it roll. I do not chase it. They ask my new human, "Why doesn't he fetch?" She smiles. He's already done his work, and that's enough for them, but not always for me. Sometimes I still look out at the road and wonder if someone else is coming, someone who wears boots and smells like dust, someone whose voice I knew better than my own thoughts. I don't believe in ghosts, but I believe in muscle memory, and mine remembers every inch of him. How he knelt beside me before every mission. How he checked my gear with hands that trembled just a little. How he whispered, "Let's bring everyone home." He didn't say, "Be careful." He didn't say, "Good luck." He said, "Home," like it was a promise. And I believed him, because I needed to. But we both knew some promises aren't meant to be kept. Not because they're lies, but because the world isn't built to let them live. Now, when the wind shifts and I catch the scent of worn leather or oil, I pause. I close my eyes. I let the memory pass through me like smoke, and I do not chase it. I let it drift, because chasing ghosts is not rest, and I'm learning, slowly, that rest is not weakness. It is not failure. It is not forgetting. It is the final mission, the one they never trained me for, the one I must complete alone. There are nights when the dreams return, not the peaceful ones. The others, the ones that make my legs twitch, my throat tighten. In those dreams, I am back in the field, back in the roar and the dust, the sound of my own heartbeat louder than the gunfire, the scent of blood and sweat, the voice in my earpiece gone suddenly silent. And then I wake. The house is still. The sky is dark, but my human is there. Always there. She doesn't speak. She just sits beside me on the floor, her hand resting on my back, her breath slow and steady, and I match it. One breath, then another, then sleep again. Not because I'm strong, but because I'm allowed to be tired. There's something strange about growing old when your entire life was meant for service, when every muscle in your body was shaped to respond, to chase, to protect, to endure, and suddenly the world no longer calls on you. The silence feels heavier than the explosions ever did. It wraps around you not like a blanket, but like fog, soft but directionless. Sometimes I walk the perimeter of the backyard, the way I used to patrol base fences. My ears twitch, my nose lifts, but there's nothing there. No threat, no assignment, no handler watching from afar. Just trees, just the slow hum of crickets, just the moon casting long shadows I no longer fear. I find comfort in routine. I still rise early, even before my human does. I sit by the door until she opens it. She always does. She always smiles, says, "Mornin', soldier," like she knows what I was, even if she wasn't there to see it. And I believe she does. Some people don't need to witness your past to understand the weight you carry. I no longer wear a vest, but I still feel it. Ghost straps around my chest. The memory of tight buckles, of clipped-on leads and clipped-on expectations. The difference now is that nothing is expected of me, and that's harder than I thought it would be. I used to think I had value because I could do something, because I could save someone. But now I'm learning. Maybe value doesn't vanish when the job ends. Maybe worth is not earned only in sweat and sacrifice. Maybe there is worth in being, in breathing, in resting, and simply surviving the things others couldn't. Some days I lie in the sun and let it warm the ache in my hips. My human brings out a blanket, lays it on the grass, sits beside me, sipping her tea. She reads or hums or just exists. And we pass time, not because we must, but because we can. I didn't know that kind of time before. Every minute used to have a purpose, every breath a mission. Now the purpose is gentler. Now it's enough just to be here, to feel the wind without testing it, to hear a sound and not be required to react, to close my eyes and not fear what I'll miss. In those moments, I wonder how many dogs like me are still waiting for the command that never comes, still living in that edge of alertness, still trapped in the shape of their training. I hope they find what I did, not rescue but rest, not orders but presence, not handlers but companions. The medals they gave me sit in a drawer. I don't need them. I don't understand them. But she does. She keeps them clean. She tells people about them when they visit. He saved lives, she says. He gave everything. I didn't know I had everything to give. I only knew how to follow, how to serve, how to stay alive and keep others alive too. But she's right. I gave everything, and I survived. Not just the war, but what came after. Now the days are shorter. The wind feels cooler in my fur. My steps are slower, and sometimes my back legs hesitate, needing a moment to remember how to rise. She notices. She helps, without making a sound about it. Just a hand under my belly, just a whisper. "It's okay. I've got you." And she does. She always does. The walks are slower now. Sometimes I don't want to go far. Just to the edge of the driveway to sniff the same patch of grass I've sniffed 100 times. It smells like earth, like change, like everything that has happened and everything that's still waiting. I stand there a while, and she waits with me. There's no rush, not anymore. At night, I don't pace the house the way I used to. I don't scan the doors and windows with trained focus. I curl into the blanket on the couch she gave me. I listen to the quiet. I listen to her breathing in the next room. I listen to nothing, and that, for once, feels safe. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, she stirs and walks out to me, kneels down, rubs behind my ears the way he used to. She doesn't say much, just my name, soft and slow, like a lullaby. I look up. My eyes are cloudy now, but I still see her, still recognize her shape, her scent, her kindness. She's never asked me to be strong, just present, just here. And I am. I won't last forever. I know that now. The wear in my bones isn't something that rest can fix. The years I gave to service carved their mark deep into me. But I don't regret them. I never did. If given the chance, I would do it all again. I would train again, run again, work again, love again. Because in every moment, through every ache, every danger, every long night, I was never confused about who I was. I was loyal. I was brave. I was useful. I was a partner. I was loved. And now, even in rest, I'm still all of those things. Just quieter, just softer, just closer to the final gate. One day, soon, I will lie down in the grass and not rise. She will find me and she will cry. And I hope she knows that I left not in fear, not in pain, but in peace. Because of her, because she gave me what the job never did, a home that didn't require anything from me, a love that asked for nothing in return. If I could speak one last time, I'd tell her this: thank you for seeing me, for letting me slow down, for letting me be more than the uniform I wore, for letting me be tired, for letting me rest. And to the ones still out there, the ones like me, I send this message through the wind. You are not forgotten. You are not broken. You are not just what you did. You are still worthy. Even now. Especially now. I am a working dog, and though my service is done, my love never retires. Sleep well, dreamer. I'll keep watch, just one more time, until morning.